Initially, it appeared to be a routine early morning operation, the type that unfolds in quiet communities across America on a weekly basis. However, this was no ordinary local police action. It was the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And within the confines of that, modest federal agents reportedly apprehended a man suspected of participating in one of the most brutal attacks of the 21st century, the October 7th Hamas assault on Israel. A major news outlet reported FBI alerts indicate the arrest of an alleged October 7th attacker found residing in Louisiana. Federal prosecutors assert that the 33-year-old individual actively participated in the Hamas-led assault on Israeli soil. The individual in question is Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Muhtadi, a 33-year-old Palestinian who, according to the FBI's investigation, allegedly crossed into Israel during the brutal attack. Months later, he controversially entered the United States using a green card he was purportedly never eligible for. For an outside observer, this might have seemed like a typical immigration issue or even a foreign terrorism apprehension. However, investigators quickly realized this situation was far from ordinary. The evidence also encompasses a transcript of a phone conversation where al-Muhtadi allegedly informed another individual, and I quote, "If events unfold as planned, Syria will join in, Lebanon will join in, and it's destined to become a third global conflict." This wasn't merely about pursuing a single suspect. Authorities were diligently following an intricate intelligence thread that originated in Gaza and remarkably extended all the way to Louisiana. We will delve into the details of this dramatic raid, explore the man at its core, and analyze the sensational claims that ignited national headlines concerning a potential plot on U.S. soil. Crucially, what evidence did the FBI uncover within that residence, and what profound implications does it hold regarding the far-reaching impact of October 7th? The operation unfolded with swift precision. At precisely 5:42 a.m. in Lafayette, Louisiana, the community was largely still slumbering. That's when a convoy of unmarked SUVs silently pulled up their engines, falling quiet outside a modest, single-story house situated on the city's south side. A local resident later recounted, "It was terrifying. I've never had a firearm pointed at me before." Per a federal affidavit, this intricate operation had been meticulously planned for several weeks. It involved close collaboration between specialized FBI counterterrorism units, Homeland Security Investigations (HSI), and the Joint Terrorism Task Force (JTTF). Federal agents executed the raid under sealed warrants, acting on verifiable intelligence that directly linked the suspect to the devastating October 7th attacks in Israel. Local reporters subsequently learned from witnesses that they were jolted awake by a succession of powerful bangs. Mere moments later, the agents forcibly entered the front door. Inside the home, they discovered Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Muhtadi, isolated, fully conscious, and allegedly cooperative with the authorities. The apprehension proceeded without a single shot fired or any reported struggle. As dawn broke, residents observed from behind crime scene tape as federal agents meticulously removed sealed boxes and evidence bags from the premises. Among the items were electronic devices, various documents, and a laptop securely encased in anti-static film. Within just a few hours, al-Muhtadi was formally processed and entered into the American penal system. The crucial questions emerged. Who exactly is Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Muhtadi? And how did an individual accused of direct involvement in Hamas's brutal October 7th attack manage to reside undetected in a tranquil southern Louisiana community? FBI agents now assert that he operated as a member of a Gaza-based paramilitary organization which actively engaged in the Hamas-led terrorist offensive against Israel on October 7, 2023. Up until the very morning of his arrest, Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Muhtadi had seemingly been nothing more than an immigrant employed in Lafayette, Louisiana. His colleagues at a local Mediterranean eatery described him as reserved, consistently punctual, and notable for always wearing an identical black cap. He leased a modest apartment located near Ambassador Caffrey Parkway, making his payments exclusively in cash, and generally maintained a reclusive lifestyle. However, the FBI criminal complaint, which was unsealed in federal court, paints a very different picture. The individual known to neighbors as Mahmoud was far more than a new resident. According to authorities, the true Mahmoud possessed extensive connections to terrorist organizations with direct links to Hamas. Specifically, these documents indicate that this individual was at the time affiliated with a distinct paramilitary group operating within Gaza rather than being a direct member of Hamas itself. Insiders reported that he was identified as one of the primary ringleaders actively mobilizing fighters with the intent to inflict casualties on Israeli citizens. Legal documents meticulously outline how on the fateful morning of the attack he purportedly armed himself, assembled several other individuals, and subsequently crossed into southern Israel, specifically near Kibbutz Kfar Aza, a location that endured some of the most horrific impacts of the massacre. The allegations state that he became aware of the Hamas invasion, then proceeded to arm himself, rally other participants, and cross directly into Israel. Cell tower data, according to investigators, pinpointed his mobile phone's location within Israel throughout the assault. Furthermore, intercepted phone calls allegedly captured him exhorting fighters, saying, "Bring the rifles. There is kidnapping, and it's a game which will be a good one." The legal documents explicitly accuse this individual, who was residing in Louisiana, of assisting in the execution of the Hamas-led assault that occurred on October 7th in Israel. Al-Muhtadi had also reportedly received a social media message proclaiming, "I see war." This message was sent at 6:34 a.m., approximately an hour after the attacks had commenced, as detailed in court documents. Just 2 minutes subsequent to that, he received a follow-up text message stating, "Hell opened its gates. It is very chaotic, and there will be no end this time. It will end in a good way." Remarkably, following the horrifying massacre, Al-Muhtadi managed to bypass every single security checkpoint. In June of 2024, he submitted an application for a U.S. visa at the embassy in Cairo, declaring his intention to seek employment in either automotive repair or the food service industry. His application on the surface appeared unremarkable, containing no discernible red flags or previous criminal convictions. By September, he had been granted permission to legally enter the United States as a permanent resident. He initially established residence in Tulsa, Oklahoma, before discreetly relocating to Louisiana. And shockingly, his past went entirely unnoticed. It genuinely appears that in this specific instance, the U.S. government was unable to perform adequate social media vetting on this individual before he was granted a visa and permitted entry into the United States. According to FBI Supervisory Special Agent Alexandria M. Toman O'Donnell, the intricate deception commenced at that very stage, as detailed in the affidavit. As a result of that false application, Al-Muhtadi was able to obtain permission to travel to the United States and obtain legal permanent resident status. The affidavit further notes that by late summer of 2025, agents say they had already been watching him. An FBI task force headquartered right here in New Orleans is widely credited with successfully tracking down Al-Muhtadi. A specialized task force actively monitoring suspects linked to the October 7th kidnappings became aware of his suspicious online activity. This included old photographs depicting him in military fatigues, prominently featuring the distinctive red headband of the NRB, a Hamas-linked group, alongside encrypted messages that made references to the brothers in Rafah among his associates. While Al-Muhtadi may have seemed an ordinary figure to those in his immediate vicinity, the Justice Department viewed him as an individual who had played a role in coordinating fighters for an overseas terrorist operation, subsequently gaining unlawful entry onto American soil through deception. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry made a more forthright statement on X, declaring justice will be served. He speculated further, asking, perhaps this is Louisiana lockup's newest resident. Yet beneath the political rhetoric, a more profound question lingered. How did federal intelligence agencies ultimately track him down to this location? And what clandestine items were they seeking inside that particular house? The crucial investigation that led the FBI to Al-Muhtadi did not originate within Louisiana itself. It commenced with a subtle data flag, a routine keyword alert triggered within the FBI's Counterterrorism Data Fusion Center in Quantico, Virginia. Sources privy to the investigation disclosed that in mid-2025, an encrypted messaging account previously identified as linked to Gaza started exhibiting activity within the southern United States. The content of the SE messages reportedly pertained to preparations and ensuring the safety of brothers abroad. Initially, intelligence analysts dismissed this as mere digital background noise, perhaps residual chatter from the 2023 conflict. However, when the geolocation data consistently indicated activity in the vicinity of Lafayette, a fresh investigation file was promptly initiated. According to an FBI supervisory special agent, the task force diligently cross-referenced these messages with existing travel and visa records. It was at this juncture that they uncovered a green card holder who had entered via Cairo months after the October 7th attack. This individual had used almost identical personal information to that of an NRB-linked operative, a name that already featured on an Israeli watch list. This revelation triggered a period of covert systematic surveillance. An FBI task force operating out of New Orleans is commended for meticulously tracking down al-Muhtadi. Investigators successfully traced his digital trail, uncovering Telegram accounts, a Gmail login associated with a Gaza-based domain, and a minor cryptocurrency wallet that executed erratic transfers to an exchange already flagged for potential terror finance monitoring. They refrained from immediate action. Instead, they methodically constructed a comprehensive map detailing his movements, including his shopping habits called logs and the mosques or cafes he frequented. A recently unsealed section of the affidavit outlines multiple clandestine meetings between al-Muhtadi and an undercover FBI asset, which took place between July and September. During one such encounter, as per court filings, al-Muhtadi purportedly brushed aside warnings that he was under surveillance. He said he could post whatever he wanted, even pictures of Hamas leaders, and he'd be safe, noted one FBI summary report. By late September, federal agents had amassed sufficient probable cause to secure a comprehensive search warrant. The arrest operation was then coordinated meticulously with federal prosecutors, the Louisiana State Police, and the Joint Terrorism Task Force. The warrant specifically outlined 3 key targets: digital storage devices, foreign currency, and any documents or notes that hinted at future activities planned on U.S. territory. That very last item on the warrant would subsequently become the pivotal point of the entire raid, eventually fueling widespread headlines about a stunning plot potentially unearthed within a Louisiana residence. Because irrespective of what the FBI initially anticipated, discovering the contents found within that house would unveil a narrative significantly more complex. Upon entering the Lafayette home, agents expected to find standard evidence, perhaps some propaganda leaflets or materials. However, what they unearthed instead necessitated an immediate and complete lockdown of the entire scene. According to law enforcement officials familiar with the operation, the search team successfully recovered not only several encrypted hard drives and foreign currency, but also a collection of handwritten notes composed in both Arabic and English. The precise nature and content of these materials have to date not been publicly revealed. Neighbors, observing from the opposite side of the street, recounted seeing agents carry out numerous sealed boxes. These containers were notably smaller than typical computer towers but heavier than paper documents. One box in particular was conspicuously marked with a red tag traditionally utilized for classified evidence. By midday, the Bureau's specialized mobile forensic laboratory had been dispatched from New Orleans. Technicians meticulously worked for hours inside the garage, eventually covering the windows with reflective sheeting to ensure privacy. Evidently, whatever evidence they were scrutinizing was intended to remain entirely concealed from public view. Officially, the comprehensive inventory list continues to be sealed under a protective court order. Unofficially, however, sources close to the ongoing investigation have described the discovery of high-value digital materials and direct references to coordination efforts extending beyond U.S. borders. Nevertheless, the cumulative weight of the remaining evidence painted a deeply unsettling picture: encrypted files containing references to Gaza contacts and meticulously downloaded digital maps of U.S. infrastructure from publicly accessible sources. While none of these elements individually confirmed explicit intent, their combined presence suggested an individual either deeply preoccupied with the world he had left behind or actively preparing for an undertaking of much greater scale. As night descended, the residential area had been completely secured and cleared, yet the questions surrounding the incident only intensified. Why was a man implicated in participating in one of the century's most brutal attacks, residing peacefully in Louisiana? And precisely what items discovered inside that house compelled federal agents to seal the evidence. Whatever evidence was ultimately secured proved sufficient to escalate the case from a matter of immigration fraud to a full-blown counterterrorism investigation. This also ensured that for the foreseeable future, the specifics would remain obscured by redactions and an official federal silence. Within mere hours of the raid's completion, the pervasive silence emanating from authorities became a message in itself. The FBI explicitly declined to release any photographs taken from inside the residence. While the Justice Department confirmed the arrest, they refrained from providing any specific details about the collected evidence. Indeed, every inquiry regarding the case was met with the identical response: ongoing national security investigation. A representative stated, "As for my ongoing investigation, there's not much I can reveal." In the nation's capital, this specific phrase resonated with significant gravity. By midday, Attorney General Pam Bondi made an appearance at the Justice Department flanked by high-ranking counterterrorism officials. She pledged a resolute commitment to safeguarding the homeland of Israel from any individuals involved in the horrific atrocities of October 7th. However, when pressed with follow-up questions concerning the evidence, she skillfully evaded a direct answer. Instead, she offered a generalized response, stating that certain evidence required analysis under strict federal security protocols to prevent any compromise to the ongoing investigation. This deliberate silence only served to intensify public speculation. Many were left feeling profoundly unsatisfied with the lack of transparency. The public meticulously scrutinized every single word of the official press release, eager to ascertain if the Lafayette discovery signified that Hamas networks had successfully infiltrated American territory. Yet not all parties involved desired full public disclosure. Former counterterrorism officials cautioned that premature revelation of sensitive details could potentially jeopardize vital intelligence channels operating overseas. Sources indicated that the invocation of a national security classification implied that the discovery was connected to something of far greater significance. This could suggest ongoing operations abroad, or, more disturbingly, operations actively being planned on U.S. soil. Thus, for the general public, the mystery only deepened. The public perception remained deceptively simple: an unassuming house, a nighttime raid, and boxes brimming with evidence that no one was authorized to detail. In Washington, this incident became a potent blend of strategic advantage and palpable fear, serving as stark confirmation that global threats could indeed traverse oceans and subtly infiltrate even the smallest American towns. Regardless of the truth contained within those securely sealed boxes, the political apparatus had already begun its inexorable movement. A complex blend of celebratory declarations and hushed apprehension now dominated as everyone awaited the next major headline to shatter the pervasive silence. Once the media cameras departed Lafayette, the case progressed into the federal courtrooms. Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Muhtadi was subsequently transferred under stringent security measures to the St. Martin Parish Correctional Center, where he currently remains in federal custody. He is presently detained at the St. Martin Parish Correctional Center, awaiting another court appearance scheduled for the upcoming week. Court records indicate that he is facing 2 confirmed charges, one for visa fraud and another for providing false statements in order to obtain legal residency. However, the true comprehensive narrative, that which is contained within the classified annex, has never been publicly disclosed in a court of law. During his initial court appearance, al-Muhtadi vehemently denied all allegations. He asserted that his purpose in coming to the United States was simply to work and live a peaceful life. Furthermore, in court today, he repeatedly affirmed his innocence and formally requested improved jail accommodations. Federal prosecutors subsequently moved to classify the case as a special security proceeding, a highly unusual designation typically reserved for trials involving terrorism or espionage. Back in Washington, a high-ranking Justice Department official informed reporters that additional charges were being actively considered. Concurrently, State Attorney General Liz Murrill publicly indicated her belief that the suspect should potentially face the death penalty if legally permissible. When pressed to clarify whether these potential charges would involve terrorism statutes, the official consistently declined to offer further specifics. The FBI has maintained its stance, declining to provide any supplementary information regarding this ongoing case. Currently, the individual accused of contributing to one of the most notorious attacks in recent memory remains incarcerated in a Louisiana cell, awaiting a trial that may ultimately never be fully public. It is also believed that somewhere in a highly secure facility, perhaps in Quantico or Langley, Virginia, the hard drives seized from his home are still undergoing intensive federal analysis. Whether these drives contain extremist propaganda, incriminating communication logs, or evidence directly linking Louisiana to the battlefields of Gaza, only a select few are aware, and they remain silent. The federal government's silence is nearly absolute. No photographs released, no evidence lists divulged, only the assurance that the confiscated materials directly pertain to national security interests. Such a declaration inherently possesses the capacity to signify everything or, conversely, nothing at all. Mahmoud al-Muhtadi's legacy could ultimately be defined in one of two stark ways, either as a covert conspirator successfully apprehended, or as an individual consumed by the relentless machinery of suspicion in a turbulent post-war era. What remains unequivocally clear, however, is that a man once accused of violently crossing a wartime border somehow discreetly traversed another, finding his way into the heart of America. If you found this investigation to be revealing, please consider hitting the subscribe button and activating notifications so you won't miss our upcoming deep dives. Share your perspectives in the comments section below. Do you believe the complete truth surrounding the Lafayette raid will ever be publicly disclosed? Your engagement plays a vital role in keeping these crucial stories in the public consciousness.